Fine Gael, what's next? The 4th of April 2024. You're welcome back. The atmosphere post the referendum, two referendums which were lost by 70%, is a bit like if you went to with your favourite football team to a match and there was plenty of shouting and roaring, and then you lost very badly. You were beaten very badly. And in that kind of an environment, you get this kind of a wake type of a political thing going on. And it's the same basically in Britain, where Richie Sunak is recovering. He'll be walloped at the polls. He won't stand a chance. Now, Enoch Powell once said all political careers eventually end in failure. But if you look at them all, the big thing is we look worldwide, we look at communism and socialism. I happened to be up in Northern Ireland yesterday and I saw a sign on the post with Robert Emmet, some kind of a Robert Emmet Nationalist Society. I have read a lot into Robert Emmet, R.I.P. And then it says Socialist Republic. And this, whoever put up this or whatever group this is, they obviously think Robert Emmet was a socialist, which he was nothing of the sort. No Republican movement, except the James Connolly wing of the 1916 rebellion, was socialist at all. Now, the countries where you have socialism is Cuba, gone to hell altogether. Raul Castro's dead, Fidel, and the brother is not fit to run it. It's a complete shambles over there. North Korea, I mean, they're socialist. Iron boot, discipline, mass starvation, marching up and down all day long, everything on into weapons, supplying Russia with weapons, and all of this. And you know the story there. But they are siding with, they're not siding with the West, they're siding with Russia, they're siding with China, and they're siding with Iran, against Israel and against the West. So an awful lot of socialists in the West are pro-Israel and pro-EU big time, and pro the Democratic Party in the US because they are socialist. But on the other hand, when you get real socialism, they don't want it at all. But the point is, Fine Gael, for those who don't know Irish politics, was the it was the same as the Conservative Party in England. It was Christian Democrat, right wing. Up till about 1967, if you were working for a company and you got injured at work through no fault of your own and you sued for compensation, they could sack you. And I know people it happened to. And Fianna Fáil were in power, and they then immediately got and set to change that. In other words, to bring in legislation, albeit they were slow doing it, that they couldn't sack you. If you sued for compensation and you got compensation, your job was protected. And that was the classic difference between Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael. Fine Gael was all for the big businessman, the big farmer, the employer, and that was it. Fianna Fáil tended to be a bit more for the worker, a bit more, but keeping the businessman on side as well. So that's the story, and they were all into development and getting brown envelopes of people. And in 1979, George Colley was beaten 38 votes to 44 for Charles Haughey, and it was downhill from there. In any event, this is what you get. This socialism that doesn't work. Wokeism, go woke, go broke, doesn't work. It has brought no joy to Rishi Sunak. The Labour Party is determined to go mad woke, mad renewables, mad energy, mad climate, mad everything, and all of that. So what happened was all of the parties in Ireland and the UK all converged on who could be the most woke, who could be the most left-wing, who could be the most cultural Marxist, and all of that, and who could allow the most migrants into the country and do nothing about it. Now we see that there's a feeling of doom within Fine Gael. An awful lot, I think it's 1 in 5 of their TDs are leaving. A lot of them are leaving. Josepha Madigan is not going forward for election anymore. Simon Coveney, he's here in the paper, he's not interested in any more political seat, and this is him here, he may actually not run either. So in that situation, there will be a political vacuum. And what are Fine Gael going to put to the public? They're going to say, we want more migrants. We want more social integration. We want more ads on telly showing white women to marry black men and black men to marry white women, and they'll eventually have it that you'll nearly have to marry from outside your own race. In other words, to get a house or whatever. That's what's coming down the line there. They're going to build pylons. They believe all this green stuff, which doesn't work. But the public is kind of aware of it. And if the public weren't aware of it, they wouldn't have voted 70% against the referendum on the family and the care and all this. The women of Ireland voted no. They said, we're keeping our status as the role of the mother in the home and all of that. So this is the situation you have. Now, the question is, how much of the protest at the referendum will carry over to a general election, and when will that general election be? Well, I would imagine that the idea will be to give this Simon Harris, as you know. Sorry, Leo Varadkar's gone. Simon Harris is the elected leader, but he's not backed yet. I think he is actually backed. Oh, he is backed yet. But he's going to be the Taoiseach, and Simon Coveney, a senior politician from Cork, refused to endorse him. And there's a list here of the movers and shakers and what will happen with Helen McEntee. Will the hate speech bill go ahead? What will happen her in her own constituency just up the road from here? And I'd say the truth is they don't really know. Now, an election right now in this cold weather would see a very low turnout, and anything's liable to happen. And I suppose they have enough wit to know you better have it in some kind of good weather. I'd say only for the patent referendum coming up in June, I think it's the 7th or 8th of June, or maybe the 9th, the European elections coming up on the same date, and the council elections that hold the 4 elections the same day. In other words, the patent referendum, a paper, the European election, the local authority election, and the Dáil election. Now, I don't think they'd want that. You'd have 4 papers like going in. You'd have an awful sheet of paper to mark, and it could cause confusion. So I'd say they'll try and carry it on. And there's a whole list there of TDs that are backing Harris. A lot of people are criticising the independent TDs for it, but Harris just might not have enough votes to back him as Taoiseach. He might not have enough votes, so he needs a few independents. Not only that, he needs a few independents to carry him on. Now, if I were an independent, I would not support him, but I can see that some of these crowd are supporting him, and we can look at who they are. So there are independent TD over there in Longford, Dennis Naughton, useless, absolutely useless. Oh my God, I never met such a useless person. He used to come to our meetings. Oh, Michael Lowry, he's the fellow he wanted a casino down in the Midlands. Not much good either. Long history there. He was former Fine Gael. Both confirmed that they support Harris. Joining now, Mark McSherry, who also already declared his support. This guy Harris, I think he dropped out of third level. He has little or no education, and he started by being some kind of a tea maker or messenger for Francis Fitzgerald TD, and that I see nothing in him at all. So Dublin Central Nessa Hourigan, who is currently suspended from the Green Party, and Donegal TD Joe McHugh, who resigned from Fine Gael whip over a micro issue. I mean, the micro issue. Well, now is his chance to demand something be done for those poor people with the faulty bricks in their houses. Have both said they will back Harris in a vote next Tuesday. I hope that Mr. McHugh has exacted a price to look after those people. You know something? I'd say he has done nothing about it, but I don't know. Mr. Harris is expected to meet Cathal Berry, Noel Grealish on Thursday. to try and get support, and also Sean Canny, CNNEY, who he said he remains undecided, and Matt Shanahan. We'll see how it will go and what price they will exact and how much of a majority he has. In any event, there's nothing new about Simon Harris. He's just more of the same. He's told what to do by the World Economic Forum. He'll have no change in policy. He will not honour the SCA directive or anything like that. For the environment, he'll go on as he can until we manage to stop him. But it's getting them nowhere. This woke agenda is alien to Ireland. How long it'll take them to realise it, I don't know. They'll hang on to the bitter end, but it's not getting them much success. Folks, we'll see you back soon. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Not a lot in that except to show you the sort of desperation and the shambles that successive leaders from Enda Kenny right down and Leo Varadkar and all of them have brought to the Fine Gael party. There's a few stragglers still supporting them, and a few of them stuck in old things that were like getting something out of it, and that's the bottom line. I don't know how Heather Humphreys would do in Cavan. I'd say she'd probably still hold her seat, but you wouldn't know. She got an awful land. The established parties in Ireland, folks, got a be damnable kick in the arse, and they're still hurting from it. When their people voted 70%, 71.8%, when you take the two referendums against their wishes, and they don't know what to make of it. And to tell you the truth, neither do I, except that there will be changes. So we'll see you back for something else. Not a very definite video. It's just that's what you get. You have this kind of a sense that they're on the Titanic, you know, and what's the point in rearranging the deck chairs? My own view on the timing of the election, if they park the hate speech bill, which I'm told from within the Fine Gael party and Fianna Fáil that they're not going to push ahead with, I wouldn't trust them. If they park that bill, and they park the planning the bill which they have going through, and a few other ones, and just continue running the country to get over the elections, and then go to the country, let's say, in September, that would be probably the preferred option. They can go till next March, but they don't want a winter election. So I'd say you're talking about the autumn. But they'll be getting a chance to see how Simon Harris behaves, and don't be in any doubt about it. He'll be as bad, if not worse, than what went before. And if he can get 70 million to give to the US Democratic Party in the run-up to the election to elect Biden, he'll give it. And if he can bring in 6 million migrants into Ireland, I guarantee you, if it's possible at all, he will do it. So that's what we're dealing with. That's how far removed these people are from the electorate. And as Michael McDowell, senior counsel and senior politician, said, they were out of sync with the mood of the people. How much the mood has changed, I do not know. They'll use every trick in the book, of course, including censorship, but that's for another day. Goodbye. We'll see you back something else.